Welcome to VLearn. This is session number 4 of C Sharp. In this session, we are going to cover inheritance in C Sharp, implementing inheritance in C Sharp, the base keyword, protected access modifier, the sealed keyword. First, inheritance. Inheritance is one of the primary pillars of object-oriented programming. As you know, C Sharp is an object-oriented programming and inheritance is an important pillar of object-oriented programming. Inheritance enables you to create new classes that reuse, extend, and modify the behavior that is defined in other classes. The class whose members are inherited is called the base class, and the class that inherits those members is called the derived class. A derived class can have only one direct base class. जब हम एक क्लास का कंटेंट दूसरे क्लास में यूज़ करना होता है तो हम नॉर्मली इनहेरिटेंस का कंसेप्ट यूज़ करते हैं. उसमें जिस क्लास के हमने इनहेरिट किया होता है वो हमारी डिराइव क्लास होती है और जिससे इनहेरिट किया होता है वो हमारी बेस क्लास. डिराइव क्लास डायरेक्टली एक ही बेस क्लास से एसोसिएट हो सकती है. Inheritance is transitive, that is, if class C is derived from class B and class B is derived from class A, then class C inherits all the member declared in class B as well as class A. Now, how to implement inheritance in our programming? You can see in this program we have two classes. One is animal and another is dog. Animal is our parent class or base class and dog is derived class. In animal class we have a function greet where we are writing hello on our console screen, and in this line public class dog, this colon specifies that we are inheriting animal class so that we can access greet function using derived class object. Now we perform practically the same. This is class program, static void main, and outside the main or outside this class I am declaring another class named A. Class A public A. This is constructor of this class. In this I am writing a console write line. And write the message base constructor. At the end, terminator, close constructor as well as start destructor, tilde sign, class name, brackets, and start destructor working. Console dot write line, message derived. Then semicolon, close the destructor as well as class. Declare another class named D, scope resolution operator, and then A. D is our derived class and A is base class. This is the constructor for derived class. here I am printing a message. Destructor. Terminator. Close the constructor. As well as class. Now in main I am declaring an object of my derived class, that is D. Object is D1. For creating object I'll use new operator. And now execute the program. I'll write console.read so that कंसोल स्क्रीन आपके इनपुट का वेट करे, एकदम से आके ना चली जाए. Execute the same. You can see base constructor, derived and then again derived. जब हमने इनहेरिटेंस करते हैं तो जब हमने डिराइव्ड क्लास का कंस्ट्रक्टर और ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट किया तो ऑटोमेटिकली कंस्ट्रक्टर कॉल होता है, बट क्योंकि इनहेरिटेंस थी तो उसने सबसे पहले बेस कंस्ट्रक्टर कॉल किया, देन ही कॉल्ड डिराइव्ड कंस्ट्रक्टर. नेक्स्ट इज बेस कीवर्ड. द बेस कीवर्ड इज यूज्ड टू एक्सेस मेंबर्स of base class from within the derived class. Call a method on base class that has been overridden by another method. Specify which base class constructor should be called when creating instances of the derived class. A base class access is permitted only in constructor, an instance method or an instance property accessors. बेस कीवर्ड का यूज़ हम नॉर्मली तब करते हैं जब हमें डिराइव्ड कीवर्ड के थ्रू या डिराइव्ड ऑब्जेक्ट के थ्रू बेस क्लास के कंस्ट्रक्टर को ही कॉल करना होता है या फिर कोई मेथड कॉल करना होता है. ये ऑटोमेटिकली डिराइव्ड क्लास के मेथड को ओवर रिडन कर देता है. वी कैन सी आई एम क्रिएटिंग टू क्लासेस, क्लास A and B. In class A, constructor is parameterized. That means I am passing parameter in my constructor whose type is integer. And printing the value of that particular. Console.writeLine. Write a message, base constructor, semicolon. Close your constructor as well as class. In another class whose name is B is your derived class and base class is A. In this, when you creating its constructor, write public class name and parameter is value of integer type, then colon, and write base in brackets value. Here we use base keyword to specify that I am referring to the base class constructor. Messages derived, close the derived class as well as its constructor, and in main function make object of both the classes derived as well as base. A1 is the object of base class and B1 is the object of derived class. Now write console.read. Execute it. Firstly, make your classes public so that you can access them outside the class. Now here you can see I'll use parameterized constructor, but I didn't give any value inside my class. So I'm giving the value 0 and in B 1. You can see both time base constructor and then derived. So जब हमने डिराइव्ड का ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट किया था क्लास का, तब उसने सबसे पहले बेस कंस्ट्रक्टर को कॉल किया, देन डिराइव्ड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट बेस कीवर्ड. नेक्स्ट इज एक्सेस मॉडिफायर्स. एक्सेस मॉडिफायर specifies who can use a type or a member. Access modifiers control encapsulation. एक्सेस मॉडिफायर्स हमारे कैसे मॉडिफायर्स हैं जिससे हम स्पेसिफाई कर सकते हैं कि कौन उस पर्टिकुलर क्लास के मेंबर को एक्सेस कर सकता है, जो कि इनडायरेक्टली एनकैप्सुलेशन का ही इम्प्लीमेंट है, दैट इज रैपिंग अप ऑफ डाटा इन अ सिंगल मॉड्यूल. क्लास members can be private, public, protected internal or protected internal. Structure member can be public, private or internal. In this we are discussing protected access modifiers. A protected member of a base class is accessible in a derived class only if the access takes place through the derived class type. Here you can see class A is your base class, class B is derived class. In class A you have a variable x of protected access modifier whose value is 123, and when I am accessing it by using a derived class object, then it will give me no error. We can also perform this practically. Create two classes. Whose first name is car, which is your base class, and here I am declaring a variable of type protected. Protected string type variable mode whose specifier is protected, then a function named h who is also protected, and print a message console dot write line, and the message is xyz. Close your function. Now make another function, public void s. In this I am printing a message, enter mode. Console dot write line and write enter mode. Mode is equal to console dot read. कंसोल डॉट रीड जो आप कंसोल में इनपुट डालेंगे उसको मोड वेरिएबल को असाइन कर देगा. क्लोज द एस फंक्शन, डिक्लेयर अनदर फंक्शन, पब्लिक वॉइड डी एंड राइट कंसोल डॉट राइट लाइन. द मोड is mode variable and then close. Terminator, close the function as well as your class. In main, make an object of car class, say C, and call function S as well as display. And then console dot read. Execute the program. As mode is R of string type, so I need to use read line function. Enter mode, I'll write 2 and you can see the mode is 2. If I am calling the function h, it will give me an error because it is not a derived class. Now sealed classes. A sealed class is one that can't be used as a base class. Sealed classes cannot be abstract and all structure are implicitly sealed. Now why do you seal a class? Because it cannot be used as a base class. So to prevent unintended derivation or to optimize our code, we use sealed classes. Now practical for the same. File, new project, console application and OK. Create a class. Firstly write sealed keyword and then class whose name is my. Declare two variables of public access specifier type integer and close it. And in main, create an object of your sealed class, that is my. M is the object, so I'll use this object to access these members X and Y. I'm giving values to both the member and then console dot write printing both values. In curly braces, first 0, and then if you are printing second value, then use 1, and so on. After inverted comma, write m dot x comma m dot y. Terminate the line and write console dot read. Execute the program. As you can see, I'll declare an object, but I didn't use new keyword, so it is necessary to use new keyword while creating your object. X is 10 and Y is 12. If the same thing I tried to use derived or base class, then sealed keyword restrict to do the same, because my cannot be my base class to any derived class. Now do it yourself. First question, explain the use of base keyword with example. आपको base keyword का सबसे पहले use specify करना है and then a short example जो base keyword को use करके आपने perform किया हो. Second, explain the sealed classes. Firstly, you have to explain sealed keyword and then give an example for explaining the sealed classes. Thank you. Happy learning. We learning.